Hey everyone, mukbang videos has to be the one and only phenomenon on YouTube because they're insanely popular, but it's hard for me to say that I know anyone that actually watches them because they purely enjoy it. It's probably one of those things where all the actual fans live together in a compound, like Mormons, and just spend all their time watching those videos, contributing to 80% of why they're so popular. This wouldn't be that bad if it wasn't for the fact that most mukbang YouTubers were incredibly miserable, with some even having a tragic story behind them. I really feel like these kinds of videos have to be the most daunting ones to make, because unlike something like a commentary, where you just record footage and edit the video, you have to put an ungodly amount of calories into your body, at which point, it might just be enough to cover you for 3 days, so any favorite food they might have will just turn into something they despise. And any person can realize now, there's only two outcomes, where the person gets fat from it, or they don't consume the actual food in a myriad of different ways.
Over the past decade, mukbang videos on YouTube have become mainstream, enough to get an entire segment in the YouTube Rewind in 2018. These videos consist of people eating mountains of food from noodles to McDonald's to even live animals. These videos, often extending over an hour, not only amass millions of viewers, but also show just how bad the fat acceptance movement has become. You see, over the last few years, it's now become normal to see plus-size models almost everywhere, shop mannequins,
That's beautiful.
Regular-sized model posters being taken down for being fat-phobic. All the while, obesity rates across the West skyrocket, as our populations become poisoned from seed oils, processed food, and sedentary lifestyles. And whilst the fat acceptance movement continued to grow, so too did the mukbang trend. A trend of stuffing your face until you feel so physically ill that you can't continue eating.
That's really nasty.
The mainstream media and these kinds of people.
But aren't most mukbangers like really thin people that are born with like a huge continental stomach? I feel like very few select are actually massive.
Forward a few years, and after this movement took hold of the West, the results of this have become.
If you're a mukbanger, you have like some teeny amount of facial hair, shave it off. I don't care.
With Mikado Avocado.
Yes.
It would be impossible to make a video about mukbangs and not talk about Mikado Avocado, aka Nicholas Perry. He is the perfect example of everything wrong with mukbang videos. You see, Mikado Avocado started making mukbang videos back.
That name, Nicholas Perry, sounds like goofy by itself, but it sounds way more formal than Mikado Avocado.
Vlogs with the occasional violin videos thrown in there. He was a pioneer for healthy living, taking on a vegan lifestyle. But because of this, the content he was producing just felt boring. The views were slow, because he was a nobody talking to a camera about veganism while traveling Colombia. There's thousands of people doing.
He was in Colombia? Oh my god.
How was he supposed to gain attraction by just being a
I guess the name Perry sounds American or English, whatever. I guess he just moved to Colombia, maybe. Oh, does he mean the state or city? Maybe.
Better than anybody else. And it just so happened that over the Pacific, mukbang videos were spreading like wildfire in South Korea. But you might be asking, why? Why would anyone want to watch someone stuff their face with food? What's the point of these videos? Well, unsurprisingly, mukbangs actually...
The funny thing is, in South Korea, I can believe that blowing up, because at least you have like petite Asian women like taking an entire table worth of food that you'd see like a fat guy struggle to finish. But when you see like some American guy like wheeze after every bite, then yeah, it doesn't feel as special.
Loneliness epidemic in South Korean culture. With people being pushed away from local communities into giant urban sprawls like Seoul, they increasingly turn to others online to find some sense of belonging in their empty lives. And as more and more people eat by themselves, empty, alone, and isolated, influencers found that just eating on camera while the viewer eats was enough to provide them some crumb of comfort in their lonely existence, instead of family gatherings, friends, and community.
It does soothe that phrase that like eating with other people makes your food taste better. You can see why.
A sense of dread every single night. And if escape meant some random influencer stuffing their face with disgusting slop, so be it. But it wasn't just South Koreans living this kind of lifestyle. More and more of the West found itself in the same depressing direction, and yet there was still no real good influencers doing mukbang videos. And that's when it became clear to Nikado that there was a gap in the market. And so on October 15th...
yeah, like a pilgrim, he bought over the idea and made millions out of it.
In his first mukbang video, Nikado just ate a slightly larger than normal vegan meal behind the camera. This was just him having fun, and it was only...
It does not look good.
And yet, to his surprise,
that's probably like cultural food you see like out of like a street market, which is alright. But when you have it that close to the camera, it doesn't look that appetizing. That's what you say.
Very slow. As from there, he'd eventually upload another mukbang video, then another and another, until his entire channel became focused on eating as much as he possibly could. His transition to mukbang was not just a change in dietary preference, but a complete overhaul of his online persona. Knowing his audience loved drama, he he'd lean into it.
Oh, that's nasty. Oh, there's hair on there.
Constantly brag about
Don't tell me he finished the food while it was like dusty ass like hair all over
it
it.
was just another lie of the fat acceptance movement, as it was becoming clear the once young and healthy Nicholas Perry was transforming into an overtly obese narcissistic man, all within a single year. And yet he now had
A year? Oh my god, I saw this whole like transformation from this small guy to this monolith was like over at least 5 years. But if you got that big from 1 year, then Jesus Christ, you can't really blame that on his channel. That's having like some external influence in his life that made him give up and be like, I just want to get fat. I don't care how I look after.
What could go wrong? He could always just die later, right? I mean, this was at the very same time that the fat acceptance movement gripped the corporate American narrative, the any size is beautiful mentality, and if you disagree with the sentiment, you'd be a fat-shaming bigot. Probably because by this point, 1/3 of American adults were already clinically obese. So if companies wanted to market well, they would target fat.
Oh, it's 2 out of 3. Maybe 1 out of 3, but not 2 out of 3.
Affinity to these companies, and Ocado was the perfect pawn. Besides, this was the time when idiocracy became reality, and plus-size models propped up in all corners of the corporate media. And so of course, this was around the same time that Ocado decided to abandon his veganism journey to continue running on the hedonistic treadmill to oblivion. Ostensibly, he explained that the change in diet...
It would be funny if, like, to give up his vegan lifestyle, he went out, like, killed and gutted, like, some animal in the forest, like in The Revenant, where he guts it and he eats it from the inside. But this video is making it seem like most people that, like, watch Nicola Avocado watch him because they actually support, like, how obese he is and they want to, like, support obese creators, I guess. But most people definitely tune in to just see him, like, crumble over, just like eating a huge plate of food and crying and like shaving his hair like he did earlier. I mean, most of the time when I see people talk about him, it's always about like his newest video or something he did with his boyfriend, which is like he yelled at him. When in the beginning it was all chill for being like, hi guys, I'm gonna eat this like 50-count box of chicken nuggets, and then by the end like he threw them all like against the wall, it's all over the floor, and he's just crying and just completely like polar opposite from what he was in the beginning. So I refuse to believe anyone like is a huge fan of him because they enjoy seeing him like just stuff down food and like seeing like the person he is, where there's definitely more of a character that he's prepping up.
Is that vegan? Is that vegan too? Oh, now I have to vegan. Oh, it's annoying. If you're deficient in something, it doesn't matter how much you tell yourself, well, I'm gonna do it for the animals. I'm gonna do it to save the environment, save the trees. The poor trees are being chopped down for cows right now. I need to just, you can't be deficient for that long for the trees or for the cows. Does that make sense biologically? Does that make sense?
An ironic claim considering his new diet consisted of donuts, nuggets, and pizza, but in reality, the reason for this diet change was most likely based on the fact that he could make bank and become a beacon of corporate media advertising if he too promoted this fat acceptance movement. And so he went full steam ahead.
I would respect him more if he ate only vegan food, because that would be like way more chemicals ravaging his body on the inside, so there's more of a risk doing
This was
it.
okay, and that he'd go and lose some weight, but that wouldn't be as easy as it sounded. His appetite was already humongous, and he was so ingrained into the culture of mukbangs that it would be almost impossible to break free, and so things would only get worse from here. Aside from watching him get fatter and fatter, his viewers were first-hand witnesses to the decline of his mental and physical health. Almost all of his videos were filled with some sort of emotional breakdown, crying spells, and toxicity.
Put it down.
Oh, is that his boyfriend in the background?
You got a breakdown.
I want to see if he brings up his boyfriend on the right, because he was always quite a character as well.
I'm already dramatic, let me just grab the camera and film it. They like when I'm upset, they like when I'm crying, they like when I'm hyper. And whilst this is probably true, you still might be thinking, why did he continue? He knew by this point that this fat acceptance movement was not only destroying his body, mind and soul, but millions of others across the world. And yet in a cruel twist of fate, the more pain, the more abandoning of his morals, and decline in his entire being, the more views and money he made. So in a world where
I think it's weird to make it seem like he's some advocate for fat acceptance, where in real life he's probably just some guy that likes eating food and getting fat. So it's weird to see him try to like paint with like his annoying characters like paving the way for a movement where he's annoying in real life. I can't imagine him caring that much about obesity in, you know, America.
Did he think any different when the entire culture surrounding him was cheering him on? And so, of course, it's easy to understand why he wanted to broadcast his less than healthy relationship with his husband, Orlin. The pair would kiss each other on camera and seem to love each other, but fight and scream at each other a few minutes later. And yes, this was probably a desperate move for more engagement with the video. Although the pair did seem to have an on and off relationship outside of the cameras. There seems to be a constant stream of videos on his channel indicating the end of their relationship. There's even a brief moment when Ricardo introduces his new boyfriend, but he seems to always end up back with Orlin. The pair even got divorced according to Perry, but in his most recent video, Orlin is suddenly back, and the pair are exchanging kisses once again.
Oh my god, they got that fin quickly.
As his entire artificial existence. But it is interesting the reasons why their supposed relationship seemed to be falling apart. As is true for many people across the world, his failing relationship was due to his unhealthy lifestyle, as this constant overeating, obesity...
I wonder if all like the Asian people that own restaurants, like a mom and pop shop, know they're making this much food for this cute couple to just destroy it on camera.
To having a vitamin B12 deficiency, tooth decay, and low blood sugar. He'd even need a breathalyzer in some of his videos to make it through these meals.
Oh my god,
it's absolutely repulsive, and it's something that more and more fat pride activists...
Okay, that breathalyzer feels like a walking stick or a medal for like a veteran, where he only wears it to make it feel like people worse for him and make them click on the video more. He probably does use it off camera, but it feels weird for him to just purposely record a video on the time of the day that he needs it.
Stories coming out about these tragic cases where these fat acceptance activists are now starting to visit the grave early because they were so deep into the delusion that it was too late to turn back and admit their wrongful thinking and change their toxic habits. And when Ricardo, realizing his entire income would die if his body didn't continue to die as well, there was no turning back for him. And so to this day, he still continues. And it just gets more and more pathetic. In a recent video, he even had a heart attack while filming one of his mukbangs.
Ow! Oh my god.
Or so he claimed. It's hard to know what's actually true with this guy. But either way, it's just so incredibly dystopian.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, how can you trust him when half of his videos are him just like putting up some high school drama act?
Views, which is almost equally as disturbing. But to an extent, it worked. And within a few years, he's now gained millions of subs and dollars. Videos talking about him have racked up millions of views. And he's become a notable figure in online culture, albeit for almost all the wrong reasons. Morphing into a parody of the 21st century, an icon for the alienated Western lifestyle of living permanently alone, watching people slowly die on camera to escape their ever-present loneliness for 10 minutes, all while we all pretend this insanity is somehow normal. And the sad part is, his fanbase would never actually support his weight loss. They wanted him to gain more weight, and slowly drop to the grave, while at the same time becoming one of YouTube's most hated.
If I went on a video right now, on like his most popular videos, half the comments will be people telling him to lose weight.
Was the underlying mental health issues that actually created this mukbang trend in the first place. Even for Ricardo, the physical manifestation of all these problems can really just be sourced down to his mental health issues, and his refusal to handle it. Despite making it clear he dealt with depression and bipolar episodes, he only saw these as more of an opportunity to showcase his sad life to his viewers, as the more sad his life was, the more money he makes. And at the end, he did make a lot of money, and he's famous. So much so that he has a $2.3 million penthouse.
What? Oh my god. I would like rip and twist my body to be obese if I got a penthouse for that much money.
It, getting rich while sacrificing your body, soul, and mind for the support of a twisted fanbase? The answer is no, as Ricardo seems to always end these videos crying and alone, just like most of his followers do after they finish their lonely Uber Eats meal with him. But Ricardo's views are clearly more important than his health, and this is a pattern we see with other mukbang creators. One mukbanger in particular
is also Subway.
Ultimate price for taking on this lifestyle.
That looks decent, you know. I love Subway.
A prime example of what happens when someone centers their entire life around mukbangs. You see, before he became famous on TikTok, Taylor Lejeune had a YouTube channel where he posted various funny videos, though most were
now I would respect someone like him more than Ricardo for doing mukbangs, because you can tell he's always been fat, so it feels less intrusive. Like, you know, like he was born into doing mukbangs while Ricardo just adopted it, you know. He feels more authentic.
Different diets. All he really cared about was making his small, loyal fanbase laugh, something he continued to do even when people would batter him with hate because of his size. Then in 2019, as the hype of TikTok came, he wanted to jump on the bandwagon and finally achieve viral fandom. And he would succeed in doing so, quickly becoming one of the most popular food creators on the app. After the success of his first viral video, he would then begin to dedicate his entire TikTok account to reviewing different foods, keeping his content cheerful and lighthearted, with his reviews never disappointing his fans. and with this his numbers skyrocketed. He was killing it, and as he did better and better, he would see more money and thus make more of these videos. His particular niche was anything weird.
Doesn't TikTok like revenue mean absolutely nothing? Like surely it can't be that much.
89. If he was eating regular food, there was usually some sort of twist that was sure to gross out his fans. But his fanbase did admire his willingness to try new things and his passion for food. But as the dishes became more and more bizarre,
I don't like his setup where he has like VHS cases as like a table. Like surely it wouldn't be that much to just like ask the family in the house, just leave the dining room for like an hour while you record these god-awful TikToks.
How far was he going to go for views? Below the videos in which he reviewed questionable and potentially dangerous foods were many comments from fans warning him against...
Well, I've seen that drink before, Orbit. Wasn't that drink like fully sold out in the 80s? Did he buy like a 40-year-old like unopened bottle to drink it? At that point, you're begging to have like some parasite in your system.
Skyrockets and the money coming in would never want to listen to these warnings. His ego would push him.
Oh, he definitely has tapeworm. You can see in his face.
Himself with the food and the videos. Unfortunately, the thing that brought him so much joy and fame would ultimately lead to his demise.
Bacon pickles. Oh.
On January 8th,
wait, that said maple smoked bacon pickles. God.
Friend sent him. He followed it up with a video where he dunked the same Fruit Loop into a bowl of cereal before biting into it, and proclaiming that it was much better that way. The video was fun, lighthearted, and thoroughly entertaining like every other video he had posted. There was nothing out of the ordinary, no cause for panic.
That looks as if someone like ate a bunch of fiber and rice and then drank like a little ton of green food coloring and that out and molded into a Fruit Loop. It's actually disgusting.
This would be the last video he would ever post.
I'm related to Waffler69,
Is
by
that
my
brother?
brother Taylor.
Oh my god.
He has passed away
Oh fuck.
around 10 p.m. on January 11th, 2023.
Don't tell me it's that Fruit Loop.
Heart attack.
Because it turned out Taylor's family suffers from a genetic heart condition that had taken the lives of both his father
Oh, don't blame him on the genetic
his
condition.
body through all of this food. It finally gave up on him. And on January 11th, 2023, Taylor was rushed to the hospital after his mother saw that he couldn't breathe. And less than 2 hours later, Waffle69 passed away at the tragic age of 33. As you saw in the video, his brother Clayton announced Taylor's death to the world and asked him to keep his legacy alive by rewatching his videos and continuing to find laughter where Taylor had tried to inspire it. While trying to have fans enjoy his videos, you can't help but overlook the fact that we have a slow documentary revealing the 33-year-old's inevitable death. It's haunting to watch, but it was one of the first signs that this mukbang lifestyle wasn't just bad for health, but it was actually a deadly trend, pushing people's bodies to breaking points. And while this next mukbang style...
That's a good point, yeah. Like people always say, I guess you could, that's one point you could make against mukbangs where if someone is doing it so often, they can make a living out of like the videos, then the body can't like ignore the amount of food, especially fast food, go into the system. Like surely there would be some slowly growing signs like a heart attack, like that guy.
Of course, is only just revealing itself. You see, Trisha Paytas is one of the most controversial YouTubers around. Very soon after she launched her channel in 2007, a year after YouTube was even made, she discovered that the...
He's the one person you can feel bad for because he was just so obnoxious.
Ever since. And after almost 2 decades of being on YouTube, the biggest cause of her controversies wasn't the trolls, the many feuds she got into, or even the time she took back the claim that she was a transgender man, although that was the one that caused the loudest uproar. No, her biggest controversy has been her relationship with her weight, specifically the mixed signals she sends her audience. You see, in many of her videos, Trisha was either expressing her love for her curves and treating her weight as something positive that needs to be celebrated, or calling herself fat, commenting on how much she needs to lose weight. And it was...
Man, you have it easy if one video you make that says, I'm just fat, I give up, gets 250,000 views. You have it easy.
Calling herself fat, commenting on how much she needs to lose weight. And it was these comments that would become problematic when she hopped on the same mukbang trend in 2015. Now the video started harmlessly, with her feeling...
What manager at like a Pizza Hut will allow that much food? Like any other country than US, a fast food place would be like, no, we're not gonna sell you that much. We're not gonna sell you that much food because we still have like, we need ingredients for the customers. Like they wouldn't allow that.
The videos soon began to spiral out of control as her eating disorder started to come into play. She would start filming intense diet videos where she would deprive herself of food for days, such as the time she did a 5-day water fast, and would immediately follow them up with back-to-back mukbang videos, during which she'd eat fast food until she was sick. Because this is what the audience...
Did she eat a tampon? What, not a tampon, a pad, whatever, on the table.
It was only a matter of time before she started destroying herself. I mean, not only was she putting her body through these extremes in a very short period of time that was incredibly harmful to her body.
How does your body not just shut down from not having any water? Wait, did she have food and just disregard water? Because that's kind of weird. But if you just don't eat or drink for 5 days and have like a huge bowl of spaghetti, that would be the equivalent of having like a knife in your gut.
Especially given the nature and cost of some of her content, it's almost impossible to believe. Because today she has over 200 videos dedicated to her binge eating sessions. She didn't even bother to slow down the mukbang content, as evidenced by a few of the videos she had posted recently. The fans.
Wait, what does that say? Pregnant? Wait, she had a kid? 22 weeks pregnant. Oh my god. That kid would come out like mutated from all the food she had. It's actually awful.
A few of the videos she had posted recently. The fans are starting to show concern. As more and more mukbang YouTubers fall dead, the consequences eventually take their toll. And it's becoming clear to many that she is risking not only her own life, but her unborn child's life if she continues down her current path. But she continues to ignore this, stating that she is happy with her choices. But as people start witnessing more and more of this, her fans are turning their back on her, growing tired of her antics, slowly slipping into irrelevancy compared to where she was just a few years ago. And while she still is doing fairly well, and is by no means struggling, she's definitely not doing as well as she once was. I mean, she didn't help her case during the interview she filmed with ABC News in June of 2023, where she confessed that the videos were a lot of pressure, and that she felt like she had to one-up herself with every new video she posted, otherwise she wouldn't get the views she expected. She spoke of her plans to dial back her eating challenges and keep a close eye on her health, but then she would say she wasn't gonna stop, just like all of these.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Mukbangs have to be the one challenge or video type you can't renewably make every week or daily. Okay, let's say hypothetically, if you just started out making videos like this, the cost of the fast food, unless you're rich, would just not be enough to cover like the money that you would make back from the videos. I mean, some videos get like at least like 10 views, 10 million, sorry, I meant to say, views, and that'll be like quite enough money. But if you're just starting out where like at max 10 people are gonna watch you, there's gonna be one comment calling you a fat ass, you can't rely on doing that every day or every week to actually make a career out of that. And even if you did, like fast forward 5 years, you would have some like actual really bad issues from eating that every like on a common basis. So at best, if you were like someone like Nicolo Avocado, where it really made your channel massive, you can rely on that, like getting like a lot of fans, but then like changing the kind of videos you make, because you can't always like keep on making it to the point that it's good for your body, or if your fans enjoy it, because I'm sure you can make it a video that people like, but he seems to be just stuck in a pattern of doing it so much that he can't imagine doing any kind of video.
I don't think I ever want to turn it off. I actually love it so much. If there's 10,000 people watching or 1 million people watching, I think it's exciting. Showing how far this fat acceptance movement is going in the West, where mukbang videos of people slowly destroying themselves are becoming just part and parcel of the internet. But luckily for Trisha, she doesn't just need to do food-centric content. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for mukbang creators who have made.
What was a playlist called Beetlejuice? How much Beetlejuice-based content do you have on your channel?
That quitting doesn't feel like a viable option anymore, no matter how unhappy they are or how bad their health is. Many are faced with a difficult choice, their health or their income. And unfortunately, most would rather take the easy way out.
Oh my god, he has beautiful green eyes.
Hungry Fat Chick, otherwise known as Candy Godiva, is a popular
That's pretty funny.
Who launched her channel in 2010.
That's the one person I respect, because he doesn't have a facade of being healthy or trying to be healthy. She just he makes it clear, you know, I'm a fat chick, so what?
Treats or food. These issues and the grief she began dealing with after her grandmother and mother died are likely what led to her becoming an adult fetish model in 2002. When she launched her YouTube channel in 2010, her sweet personality and great sense of humor almost instantly gained her a huge following. But she wasn't regularly uploading mukbang videos until 2017. But as the trend of mukbangs and fat acceptance became normal, she had to jump on the bandwagon. And in doing so, she started to make a good amount of money and her views were skyrocketing. It seemed like everyone loved her in her audience, and there was nothing to complain about on the surface. But people began to notice that she was never in a good mental space, facing an ongoing battle with depression, grief, and overwhelming feelings of guilt. While she thoroughly enjoys her food and for the most part seems happy, many of her viewers can see that she
that's a good point, yeah.
She refused to do anything.
If every video you make, or if you just like gorging yourself on food, and you got like millions of views, that would be like an enabler for you to keep doing it and, you know, get stuck in a depressive pit.
Years of seemingly inconsequential poor eating, Candy was faced with reality. in February of 2023 after she posted a short video of herself in the hospital explaining that she couldn't upload a mukbang that day, though she was quick to assure her viewers she'd be home in a few days. Her audience
You're telling me the nurses and doctor wouldn't bring in like a 10-count meal from McDonald's for her to make a video? What piece of
her, as there had been several other mukbang creators who died shortly after being hospitalized, but soon she did thankfully come back home. In the next video she posted, Candy spoke about how she was ready to make a change in her life and would be going on a 30-day carnivore diet. Fans that had been worried about her health for years were ecstatic. While the challenge had its ups and downs, Candy looked far happier than she had in a long time and was constantly sharing about how much energy she had since she started the diet. Some even remarked that her water cough had disappeared. She started strong, clearing her cupboard of junk food to avoid temptation and only buying groceries that were within the limits of her new diet. Everything seemed to be on the up. It seemed like the shackles of her trauma had disappeared, and this toxic...
With the way he's formatting this, he's like, everything seems to be on the up. Meanwhile, we still have like 8 or 7 minutes. Hopefully it's just good news, you know, fingers
She had
crossed.
so much more energy and celebrated every time she weighed herself because she successfully lost a few extra pounds. Now and then the cravings would get too much and Candy would slip up, as many of us do, but she kept going, and for the most part she looked like she was starting to enjoy her life. You could see that there was more to it than just food. She felt good about the change she'd made and started talking about how she no longer wanted food to be the center of her life. A huge move considering her channel was based around mukbangs. Her story was inspiring and highlighted just how toxic this subculture had become, and as she escaped this horrible lifestyle, she ended up losing 18.7 kilograms, and it seemed like she was well on her way to stopping mukbangs once and for all, focusing all of her attention on her own health. But because her audience only knows her for these mukbang videos, they were begging for this content to come back. All the money was there on the table for her, all the views.
I would much rather watch a video of someone going on a diet that has like huge progress than some depressing person.
On her second channel. Still, it soon became apparent that Candy was missing the regular stream of income, and the lack of views in her weight loss video was starting to get to her. I mean, when your primary source of income disappears unexpectedly, it can be incredibly disheartening, and such a scary situation to be in. But Candy was determined to find a new side hustle rather than take the easy way out and poison her body. Hoping to give her audience what they wanted without compromising her lifestyle choices, she began creating content that proved detrimental to her progress, where she started reacting to her old mukbang videos. She was missing the food she used to eat, but she stuck with her new eating habits all through October, maintaining her weight and continuing to garner support from her community. But everything came to a head when someone stole her package. Frustrated with her current financial pressure and the sudden lack of income, along with her slow YouTube growth, and Candy eventually returned to things that had brought her comfort for years: food. Her audience immediately began encouraging her to continue her weight loss journey, sharing their own weight loss journeys and telling her that a small amount of weight gain was normal. But Candy wouldn't hear it. It came down to a choice between prioritizing health, beauty, and long-term success, or running a short burst of higher income and poisoning her body with this disgusting mukbang culture, building an audience that promotes this. And unfortunately, she chose the latter. While people are concerned for her and understand she slipped up, not many of her supportive viewers will stick around to watch her throw her life away again. She was on the right path, she saw the light and chucked it away. And Candy was always honest and real with her audience. That's why people loved her. But when there's an audience to tap into and money to make, it seems all too tempting, even though in the end, this path leads to disastrous consequences. And knowing the health implications of this, and yet the money you can make with mukbang videos, fakers are starting to try and come into this world, promoting the mukbang lifestyle, or whilst doing the complete opposite in their real life. In fact, faking mukbangs has become a regular thing.
That would still be better than eating every day on camera. What I want to know is like how quick did he shift from like going on a diet to just going back to what she was? Was it like a week or a month where like she really questioned herself if she wanted to go back to that kind of like video style?
Promoting to the world fat acceptance, hedonistic greed, stuffing your face, all while completely deceiving their audience and keeping up a false beauty
I will say now, mukbangs are naturally disgusting, but mukbangs in a car are way worse.
For his food content. Zach was a model and fashion blogger who commented on the different trends he encountered while living in LA. When he eventually created his YouTube channel in 2018, he started gaining popularity through his beautifully presented and neat videos, and he would maintain this popularity on platforms like Instagram and TikTok, where his aesthetically pleasing cooking videos garnered even more attention. It just seemed perfect.
You know, I hope this is the last guy to like at least put like a positive note at the end of this miserable story of fat people slowly losing the grip on life. It is one of those guys that like is like really thin but has like the metabolism of a god, where he can like eat however much he wants but he'll burn it by the end of the day. Then I respect that more than someone who knows, like someone who's going to a hospital and the doctor told them you have to go on a diet or else you die. Then that would be better, because at least, you know, there's no like health risk and I don't feel miserable. I think it just naturally it feels better to just watch someone who's that massive and just depressed from eating food, especially if they have like 100 thousands of videos of them eating like the same dish, all from a branch of restaurants where the employees have gotten so much that they're like, oh, it's the same person that has a mukbang channel. Let's get ready to waste a quarter of our stock just to like make food for them.
Just as TikTok was blowing up, so too was the mukbang trend. These two together, and Zach with his looks found instant success. Maybe it was too good to be true, because as of recently, his fans have been suspicious of the legitimacy of his content. You see, in the 6 years that he's been active on social media, Zach has filmed and released over 1,100 videos on his channel, yet he's always maintained his figure somehow. Now, while more hardcore fans have argued that this is because he has a rigorous exercise routine or a fast metabolism, people who understand calories don't believe this at all, as many suspect that Zach is swallowing the food he shows on camera and then likely purges it once the cameras are off.
Oh my god,
for a large portion
that actually be disgusting.
which inadvertently promotes even more eating disorders. And the suspicions might have been confirmed when a former employee of Zach anonymously posted on Reddit to expose how he was running things behind the scenes. They wrote, "Zach vomits every meal in order to stay thin. Zach is fooling his
That's actually deranged.
audience
God.
of millions across the globe. He is making millions of dollars capitalizing of young people's lack of awareness to realize that Zach is evil, gluttonous, fake, and a liar. The feds need to investigate Zach for his crimes against humanity and illegally making money on the back end. Zach is not even his real name.
Is he part of the cartel that he cut off someone's head? Or do he just make mukbang videos? I don't think he's on the same level as Hitler or Stalin.
The FBI, CIA, and FDA, along with Homeland Security and DOJ, need to work together to stop Zach from causing more destruction and eating disorders around the world, end quotes.
Okay.
And Zach's case wasn't helped when another YouTuber did her part to expose many mukbang creators by demonstrating just how easy it is for them to fake their videos. In the video, she explains that fake overeating mukbangs are dangerous because of how they affect the eating habits of their viewers, especially the ones who are watching those kinds of videos late at night and are encouraged to have a snack or two, promoting fat acceptance worldwide, all while they do the opposite, saying that fat people are beautiful, all whilst doing everything they can to avoid being fat in the first place. And if what this
Yeah, but at the same time, if you know that they're throwing up behind camera, that would immediately it would immediately put off your mind of any snack, because you can just imagine them like hurling it all up in the bin.
About him floating around, it seems like his fan base is slowly dying out, and the only content he's posted in the last few years has been reruns of his old mukbangs. At this point, he doesn't even seem to be.
Wait, you mean like he re-uploaded the same video? How surely that would be taken down if it's just the same video every time.
But at least he targets people who should be mature enough to recognize the way he's eating isn't sustainable, nor should it be copied. Unfortunately, some other mukbang creators have no issue targeting a younger, much more naive audience. Donna is a South Korean mukbang channel that features two women who try various colorful foods. These foods are often unhealthy, such as giant pieces of candy, or just very odd combinations. The channel has gained a lot of popularity in recent years, and is currently sitting on 32.3 million subscribers, an insane feat for a channel with only 170 videos, though it's important to note that they deleted almost all of their videos back in 2020. Why? But while the channel looks mostly harmless with its fun colors, cute animations, cheerful hosts, and upbeat music, the issue comes in when you realize they're trying to encourage children to watch mukbangs, promoting obesity, greed, and hedonism to a global audience of children. Of course, most kids
There's no way obesity in kids is that common in Asia. You probably have like, for every like town or city, they have one popular fat kid. Like that's the most they have.
Tricking children. And as more and more kids become iPad kids, they will go on YouTube Kids and watch this charming host eat a whole bunch of unhealthy, colorful food without experiencing any seemingly consequences. It just looks like pure fun. Nothing bad here to see. It's not like these people are dying. This is all hidden behind the camera. And with the fat acceptance movement spreading across the West, this stuff's becoming more and more acceptable to children. And so not only will these kids watch these people and want to eat like the people in these videos, but when their bodies start reacting appropriately, it will eventually lead to obesity, heart issues, mental health problems, anxiety, and a shortened lifespan, ruining these children's lives to fit in with the progressive agenda. Worse so, channels like Donna have become a gateway to other mukbang content. Donna's videos aren't very long and they post infrequently. Once a child runs out of content, they'll start looking for similar videos, and if their parents aren't keeping an eye on what they're watching, that child can very easily stumble onto a very dangerous and inappropriate side of the internet. Children who watch mukbangs will often develop bad habits. They'll see grown adults eating messily, grabbing for food without restraint, and start replicating it when eating their own meals. So whatever you do, mukbang videos need to stop. It is cancerous to the world and poisoning children.
Yeah, at the same time, yeah, but I can see why. I can't see why fully, but with the kind of food they have, it is mostly like jelly. Like it's food, but it's more like plain food where it's fun to throw around or just like bite into. Also, if he's gonna bring up the debate of like stuff kids watch, then I think I'd much rather prefer my son or daughter watching like that kind of like not a mukbang, but food video, then like something like Skip the Toilet. At least then I can buy them like a snack to make them shut up, as opposed to them like just spewing the same song 50 times every day. But man, this video just made me sad and disgusted, because in the beginning, I really hoped like it was gonna like go from worst to best, like people that start off, you know, like just getting fatter, but by the end it was like channels that started making mukbangs but then realized like they can't keep on doing it every day, and then realized like it's better to make other videos than just that, and they wanted to make like actual good stuff. But then like those last two channels of like the guy and the girl like just throwing up after like filming the videos to stay fit, that's actually disgusting. I really hope like the fans that watch that a lot like have to know it beforehand, because then like there's no way you can enjoy someone eating that much if you know they're gonna like spew like the equal amount of mass that they just put in their body. I could understand people watching like mukbangs if they want to like eat with someone else, because you know people are just sad and lonely, and it's better to just like put on a video than just go like out in public and like sit next to someone. But if you enjoy the idea of like someone putting like just like bags of like McDonald's food in the system and then throw it up, then yeah, there's not really a lot, you know, that someone can do apart from just going to a hospital, you know. I'm sorry, that's what you say.